Thank you, Ms. Sloan. Hello. I hope this finds you well, or at least okay. So one of the projects we worked on in our senior year theology class was about discovering the pursuit of authentic happiness, which to me seems really broad or vague. Like, how am I as an 18-year-old gonna figure out the solution to happiness? Okay, well, I didn't put that much pressure on myself. But if anything, this project was a good way to have a personal conversation with some close family and friends, and it did help me to stop and reflect on what I think is important. Shout out to my friends and family, especially my sister, who's the only person that puts up with me at home and at school. Thank you, Ella. All right, I'm not about to tell y'all how to find happiness. I'm young, and I'm not sure that's something you just figure out like that. But I do want to share something that's important to me. So let me retrace back to earlier this week. I was given a deadline for finishing this speech by 9 a.m. this past Tuesday, which, I can't lie, I felt like a little bit of pressure. And in searching for inspiration to write the speech, I decided I wanted to read a little bit. And some of y'all might know, I'm kind of interested in Spanish literature. And recently, as very generous parting gifts from my advisor, Dr. Tracus, and my Spanish teacher, Dr. Rape, I received a copy of Don Quixote and a Borges short story collection. And I'm very grateful, thank y'all so much, love y'all. If you're unfamiliar with those works, basically the Quixote is like 2 volumes and it's super thick, thicker than my math binder. And then the Borges short stories, some of them are a paragraph long. So I tried Borges. The reason I bring this up is because of a particular story that I read called El Milagro Secreto, or The Secret Miracle. In the story, a Jewish author in the middle of working on a play that he believes is his best work that'll change his career, he's captured by the Germans in World War II, and he's sentenced to execution 10 days later at a very specific time. Anyone want to try to guess the time? Okay, 9 a.m. The fictional author and I have the same deadline for the same lines that neither of us have finished. Granted, the stakes are quite different for him. So the night before he's to be executed, the author begs God for 1 more year to work on his project, which he says will give him purpose and fulfill his existence. And usually I think that asking for a deadline the day before something is due is a little risky. I can't even imagine asking for a year-long deadline. And that went probably how y'all would assume. He wakes up the next morning and is sent to be executed. But right before the soldiers are about to shoot him, time freezes. Don't worry, he still dies. But everything freezes in that moment. Nothing moves. He can't move, the soldiers can't move, but he can think. And he realizes that this frozen moment is the year that he's been given to finish working on his play. And so he can finish the story in his head before he dies. Unfortunately, I was not able to freeze time to work on my speech, but this story helped me take a step back, slow down, and be more present while working on it. And I'm not gonna preach about deadlines and procrastination. I like the message about being present and aware in the moment, but what really stood out to me is that the author isn't able to write anything about his play or share it with anyone. All the fulfillment and validation comes from within. When my classmates interviewed me for that theology project about happiness, my answer for what I think happiness is was the ability for each individual to have the freedom or agency to be themselves and discover happiness how they want to while allowing themselves to grow or change. Trying to be authentic, or maybe being authentic means an absence of trying. Anyway, trying to be authentic is really important to me. So while we're all getting the same diploma, all of us had our own way of getting here and their own plans for what they're doing next. And I hope we can all find fulfillment in our own unique paths. Congrats, and I love y'all.